Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a new, it says, an immersive mystery gaming experience coming to you from Cosmos. This is in the Masters of Crime series. I'm specifically taking a look at Shadows. In Shadows, you are going to be planning and executing a heist, stealing a piece of artwork. So by that, you're going to be going through, you're going to be assembling your crew, you're going to be getting ready for the heist, and then in the second half of the game, executing that heist and seeing how well you did. Were you able to pull it off and get that stolen piece of artwork without raising too many alarms? Like I said, this is an immersive gaming experience, 1 to 6 players. Let's take a brief look at the components that come in this game. I'll be showing a little bit about what's going on, but really trying to avoid spoilers and not showing too many cards, and definitely not giving away any of the locations or the envelopes, things that come in that. So take a look at it a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll let you know what I thought. So here is everything that's going to come in the box. You're going to have your envelopes, some paper here to take some notes and help you organize your thoughts as you go, a big deck of cards, which is going to be the planning and preparation that you're going to go through for the heist here, and then you're going to have the player board that you're going to place out and be kind of keeping your cards organized as you go through the deck here. This game is going to be played through 2 phases. The first is going to be planning the heist, and the second part is going to be resolving or going through the heist and making some decisions and adapting to different things that happened as you're actually pulling it off. So I have it set up here as it instructs on the first 4 cards of the deck here are going to be the setup instructions and kind of general overview. I already have that set up. Just ignore the annotations up here on the board. None of these are filled in when you first get the board. That's from my playthrough. All right, so yes, so you're going to look at the first 4 cards, which are going to instruct you on how to play and let you know what's going on. So you're going to read through those and have a general idea, and it's going to leave you with 2 different reference cards, which there are going to be spots for on the board here so that you have handy. It is going to have you set up 1 location card, and it tells you when you get a location card, you always read the first one front and back. Now, when you put the location out, you're going to set all of them out. So this whole stack would go there. I take it, I flip it over, and you're going to read the first card. A lot of times these cards are going to have some sort of decision you have to make on it, or else it might instruct you to open another envelope, or it might have a puzzle that you have to solve. If it's an envelope, you would take the associated envelope, open that one as well, and use that as a resource, typically to solve a puzzle, but other times it's just a resource that you're going to need as the game goes through. So you would do the associated actions on the card. On this one, for example, you just have a choice to make. Are you going to ask about the painting or ask who you're working for? And then look at the associated card based on that choice. On that card, it might tell you to take some cards from this deck here, the heist deck, the draw deck, in order to either add to your heist stack or reveal additional locations. For example, if it tells you to reveal location B, you would take all those cards, put that up there, and once again, you would turn over the first card and read that whole location. If it tells you to add cards to the heist deck, for example, it might tell you to add card 51 to the heist deck, so you would take and you would just put that under here. The order does not matter, and maybe it says, discard 53 and 54. So you would take those and take them out of the game. This is representing you making some choices, which they're going to go into the actual heist when you resolve it. So for example, maybe you hired a character and you're putting them in there, or you decided to, in the first one, it presents a problem of you needing to repair the van. So based on if you decide to repair the van or not, it depends on what cards you'll put here and which options you take out. So you're going to keep working through these locations and making these decisions up until you make it through this entire deck here. You'll know you reach this point because card 35 is going to be on the top of this stack, and that means that you have resolved all the cards and all the locations, or you've removed what you need to do, anything like that. So this one will instruct you that there should be nothing left under here. So these are all the cards that you're going to either be adding to the heist deck or removing from the game. So once that's the case, you are ready and you're going to move forward with actually doing the heist. At that point, you're going to take the heist deck, turn it upside down, or you're going to order it in order of the cards, and then turn it upside down and resolve each card at a time. There might be additional puzzles to solve, there might be new challenges that are presented, but really it's just going to be the resolution of the decisions that you've made. You're going to see if they were good decisions, and if so, you might get additional stars. If they were not good decisions, they might give you these exclamation points, which are kind of little alarms that were triggered. So maybe you didn't have the right person on your crew for something, so it was done pretty sloppily, which raised an alarm. At the end, you're going to look up your score to see how you did, and that's going to be the number of stars that you earned minus a different threshold here met by the number of alarms you triggered. So for example, if you only triggered 1 to 3 alarms, it'd be minus 1 star. At that point, it's going to give you a reference. You see how you did based on the stars, and you, well, hopefully celebrate. That's going to be it for kind of the general how to play. Let's go back up top and talk a little bit more about what I liked. All right, so this is saying it is an immersive mystery gaming experience, and I think that is a fantastic title for this. It really does feel like an experience that you're going through. It says 1 to 6 players. I feel like this is probably going to be best at 2 to 3. I went through it at 2, and I found that to be very well balanced between the different work we had to do. You know, one person looking at this website, the other person working on this puzzle, bouncing ideas off each other, and then ultimately making the decisions. It wasn't too many cooks in the kitchen. So I think it worked really well at 2. I would definitely do it at 3 as well. 4, 5, 6, you have to know your group, I think, for those player counts to know how well you're going to be able to get along. Not get along, but is it just going to be one player who's doing it anyway and everyone else is just kind of hanging out? But yeah, it's definitely an immersive mystery gaming experience. That the mystery, it's going to be reminiscent of like some escape rooms where you have puzzles to solve, but then definitely feel more decision making as well, like you are influencing the experience, similar to maybe like a murder mystery party or something like that. So a really unique blend of that. A couple things I really liked were those decisions and the puzzles. There was only one puzzle that didn't jive with me. I just didn't care for it. It was a little too mathy, I felt like, but the person I was playing with had no problem with that and jumped in and was like, oh, this is right up my alley. So that worked really well. All the puzzles worked, and I think we were able to come to solutions. I don't want to say really easily, but we did have to work for them. They were very satisfying puzzles. The answer felt worth the amount of energy we had to put into it, and we didn't have to use too many hints either. That being said, a little bit of a negative is there's a couple times that we found ourselves a little stuck and didn't know what to do next, and so we would have to go onto the website and use their hint system to be like, these are the cards left in the draw stack. What does that mean? And it would direct us somewhere else to go look into something. But that was there and that was available, so I like that. It doesn't ever feel like it ground to a halt because we knew that resource was there and it was very well set up and gave us the answers we needed. So I was really happy with that it is there. But there was a couple times that we just missed little details. So I'm glad. I am glad for that, though, that there's a hint system to direct you to that information rather than just being like, you've decided to start the heist. I guess you don't have any equipment, something like that. So I think it's well handled. So on that note, you are going to be going to different websites. You are going to be watching different videos it's going to direct you to and really have this interactive experience as if it was real life. I will say, too, the websites that you go to look legit. I think that speaks to their credit, how well designed they are. But you have to be comfortable with that to be like, all right, I can click on everything, right? I can make an appointment on this website, right? That's okay. I can join this live call. That's okay, right? All of that is okay, but it definitely, I'm glad I know that now for if I pursue other ones in this series, in this Masters of Crime series, I'd be a little bit more confident clicking around and doing everything. The websites are fake for this game, but it definitely feels very immersive, like you're going to an actual website and doing this stuff, which I appreciated. But you have to be comfortable with that. Know that you have to be comfortable with it. In the instructions, it also tells you that this is going to be 2 to 4 hours, this whole experience, and to take a break at the 2-hour mark. So I think that's why it says 2 to 4 hours. I did find it to be about 3.5 hours to go through. So I think it's right in that time frame. And I'm glad I took a break in the middle. I was thinking that I would wait up and do the planning of the heist and then pull the actual heist as the second part, and that's kind of how I planned it. That's not the halfway point. So when you find your group getting to that kind of natural stopping point, or everyone's getting a little tired, I absolutely think it's a good idea to step away and to come back later, fresh set of eyes, and really engaging in the experience. The biggest negative that I had in the game, though, is the heist deck, or heist stack, as it's called in the instructions, and it's called that through 80% of the cards. But there were two different occasions where it called that deck completely something different, and not the same thing each of those two times. It called it something different. And so it was a little bit of like, does it mean the heist stack? Like, that would make sense. Where else am I going to put it? I don't have anything else named this. So we decided it is the heist stack. That's where we put the cards, and ultimately that was the right decision. It is only a heist stack. It's just called a couple things, which can lead to some confusion. So that was a little bit of a hiccup that I think was not quite frustrating, but definitely a kind of a killer moment where I was like, ugh, come on, guys, use the same language. Make this a little, help us help you kind of thing. So I was a little disappointed in that. Overall, though, I very much enjoyed this experience. I'm going to come down at an 8 on this. I think this is a perfect game for that weekend getaway that you have planned. If you're going to, a cabin this weekend with some friends or a significant other, or if you're having a rainy day, weeknight, something like that. This is that perfect casual experience kind of game that I think fits really nicely into it, that I very much enjoyed going through and found it to be very interactive and engaging. A couple little hangups, like I said, with that production and with the language in it, but not enough to kill the experience. And going through this one here has intrigued me to look into the rest of them in this series. I also think that this would be a great gift. We have Christmas coming up here. This would be a great gift if you have friends that are not gamers, perhaps, but they do love those murder mystery party kind of games. I think this is a great shoe-in for that. Probably something they haven't seen that's a little bit different. So great for a one-time thing to dive into, a great experience, and one that I'm excited to see what else is in this series. So it's going to be an 8 for me. Thanks for joining me here for Masters of Crime Shadows. We'll see you next time. I'm Camilla.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Bassel.